Hey guys, I'm Allison, I'm the Pampered Wife. I have my weekly makeup review for you of what I've been wearing this week. We've got a full face of makeup this week with some Physicians Formula, Ritual de Fille, Lavina eyeshadow palette, some Jones Road Miracle Balm, I'm trying to remember what else, some Ilia, some Kier Weiss, so a whole bunch of things. I am still wearing the makeup. I put it on about 4 or so hours ago. So let's get in close and see what it looked like or looks like. I've been rained on, I've eaten, I've blown my nose, I've eaten a lot. Yeah, those are the main things. Just out running errands. Let me zoom you in. I think it looks really good. You can see some creasing here. I always have creasing here. I think this is pretty minimal. It usually depends on how much I have underneath the concealer that determines how creasy it is, and I have not tapped it out at all. I believe that made the difference. As far as I can tell, yeah, that totally did it. I have some shading under my eye. I don't know if that's the eyeliner or if it's the mascara. I always get it with this mascara, but I also always get it when I wear eyeliner on my top lashes. So it's hard to say which one that is. And otherwise, I think the foundation looks fantastic. Where it's worn away around my nose and mouth, I think it's worn away naturally. It doesn't look weird. And otherwise it stayed nicely. Everything else is still in place. I really like the eye look. It just looks well blended. I don't think that's faded, and the brows have not held particularly well, but this brow product is not a strong holder. So let's get into it and see what these products actually are. If you're new to my channel, I'm 49 years old and have normal to dry skin. I live in a dry climate. That may be all the pertinent info you need. I'm gonna zoom you back out. We don't need to be this close. All right, so this week I have been using a primer off and on. I typically don't, but it's been raining a lot. Instead of my moisturizer, or sunscreen, I've been using a primer because this week's foundation does have SPF in it. Now, I don't usually rely on my foundation for SPF, but it's raining, I haven't really been outside, and I don't know, that's not the best idea, but that's what I did. So I've been using the Kavos Perfecting Potion. It's been nice. I've put it on my eyelids, under my eyes, all over my face. It's caused no sensitivity. This is an illuminating primer, if I didn't say that. And it just added some smooth illumination to my face. I think it does make a difference what you put on under your foundations, and this just added a nice, not too grippy, not too tacky, but yet still enough grip and tack to create a nice base for my foundation to stick to. I'm not well enough versed in primers to say whether or not I recommend this. I'll have to continue using it and see how I like it with other foundations. This is the first time I've really worn it, and this is a powder foundation where I do find that I need some kind of primer underneath, and usually that is my SPF. I just happened to try this a lot this week. I did also wear SPF under it sometimes. Then I went in with eyeshadow. I still love this Lavina palette. I lean on it. I really rely on some basics from this, which is funny because if you look at it, it looks like these are not basics, like you're not gonna get a basic day's look out of it. So these three are shimmery, as is this one. Oh, and this one, and this one. So there are really only 4 mattes. This one is not a shade I typically reach for. I just don't like those plum shades on my eyes. Anything pink or red, I'm not looking to look like I have pink eye. That's for a younger person, I think. This brown is a bit reddish. This is a nice neutral color that I actually reached into today, and it does come with labels or names for each shade. So the one I put in my crease today is Bewitched. I think this is a great transition shade when I don't want to go for something deep to really define where my lid ends, or more of a nighttime look. I think this is a great neutral. Then the gold I went in with is called Spiritual, and it's got a beautiful sheen to it. You also can wet your brush and of course magnify whatever properties these shadows have. So I find that I reach into these a lot. I don't usually do a whole look just from this, but I do find myself using them. So I'm just gonna swatch they're like buttery soft. They're not powdery. I know you see me tapping off my brush in the video, but they're really not powdery, and they're lovely, nicely pigmented. So you see that gorgeous sheen. I would definitely recommend this palette. Oh, on the eyes, I forgot, I also did use my trial of the Ritual Defee Eye Soot in the shade Sigil. I love it. I'm finally working my way through whoever I got this from. Sometimes I buy directly from Ritual Defee, sometimes I buy from Credo or other places even. Whoever I got this from, this is some kind of crazy generous sample. I love this shade. It goes with warms, it goes with cools. It's a fantastic neutral that's really more of a champagne, and I'm gonna swatch that right here. It's more of a satin with a nice sheen to it. It's just beautiful. It's a perfect shade for almost any look. Like I said, it's more of a champagne. So that's what I use over the inner third of my eye, just to kind of lighten and brighten things up. It blends, it hasn't creased. It may fade a little bit, but these are such a cool texture. It's like a cream to powder or powdery cream. I don't even know how to describe it. They're just so fun to use. And I pretty much try to throw in a Ritual Defee product into every look because I just love that brand. One thing to note is most of Ritual Defee's products do have essential oils in them, usually smell like lavender. The Eye Soot does not have any essential oil in it, and it definitely doesn't smell like lavender. The foundation I've been wearing is the Physicians Formula Airbrushing Pressed Powder. I have the shade Creamy Natural. This does come in 2 or 3 shades depending on the website you look at. Flimsy packaging, a plastic that's made to look like metal. I always have a little bit of trouble opening. You just push it. And then there is a brush underneath. So if you're on the go, keep this in your purse. I guess this could work. I have never used this on my face, and it does have a mirror, which is actually really nice to keep in your purse or beach bag or something. It is SPF 30 if I didn't already say that, and it's just a nice neutral shade on me. That right there really doesn't even show up. It matches super well. What I like to do is use a flat kabuki brush, really swirl it around, get it pretty well coated, and tap it on my face. And then I go back in after I've tapped it all over my face where I want it. Then I'll go back in and kind of swirl it around. I may add more powder if I want more coverage, or especially if I want more SPF. I would say it's a light coverage, not even medium. I've never really built it up to a medium, but I do think it has a beautiful finish. I'm gonna have to do a face-off between this and my Alima Pure Loose Mineral Face Powder, Natural Matte. I can't even remember, Satin Matte. It's one of my favorite foundations and I can't remember the name. Anyway, that's my loose foundation powder that I use that I love, that has an airbrush finish. I think it's worth doing a kind of face off between these two because this is so inexpensive. I got it at King Soopers, which is our version of Kroger. I don't know what it might be called in other parts of the country. I mean, you can't beat that. Like drugstore makeup, inexpensive, 3 different shades with SPF that does blurring, and honestly wears beautiful. Look, as I showed you at the beginning of the video, I've had this on for probably 5 hours now actually, and I think it wears beautifully. As usual, I went in with my Westman Atelier contour stick in Biscuit. It's just so easy for every single look. Put that here on my arm next to the gold that I just swatched for you. It really could be used as a bronzer, more of a bronzer. It's not the coolest contour shade out there. Usually they're a little more gray, but I find that this works great. I'm kind of interested in trying a more gray one just to see how I like it, but this works so well. I just put it under my cheekbones and then blend it upwards. I also did around the edges of my face, and I sort of tried to do my nose. I don't always do that because you probably know I'm not a makeup artist. I have no idea what I'm doing other than just being a normal person who loves makeup. So take all of my, demonstrations with a grain of salt. This is just how I do it. But I do love this. It's effortless. You can never put on too much. It always looks good. It's never too harsh. It's just super easy. And I do reach for this most days, at least for under my cheekbones. Oh, and my chin, under my chin. Then I went in with the Ilia Multi-Stick in the shade Ladybird. This is a great product. Every time I pull it out, I'm like, why don't I use this more? It comes in so many shades. I lean on this more as a blonzer, which would be a blush and a bronzer. Sometimes I use my fingers. This week I'm using a short-haired, densely packed brush. Just dipping right into it. I think it just looks great to lift my face, lift my cheekbones. I use it to pull my eyes upwards. Sometimes I use it on my eyes, I use it on my lips. I really do use it as a multi-use. This week, like I said, I've been relying on it as a blonzer because it does have kind of a corally rose. I'm trying to think of how to describe this, but I do think it's definitely a warmer shade in the golds and tans than it is to the grays and cooler shades. So I do love it in summer especially. And it's, you know, shears out again. It's not opaque. It's not a super stiff product, but it's not a soft product. Like the Westman Atelier is a much softer, more emollient product, whereas this is a little bit stiffer, but still really easy to apply and work with. The packaging it's a metal, it's not magnetic. And these are shorter and chubbier than the Westman Atelier. They're also lighter and feel a lot less luxury line if that matters to you, but it's a great product. For brows this week, I've been using the Iris&Romeo Brow Gel, whatever the specific name is. I have the shade medium brown. I like this better than I used to. Now that I've had it for a few months, it has dried down quite a bit and I find it much easier to use. Still, it really annoys me how much I have to scrape the product off the brush before I go to put it on. If I don't do that, I will get clumps. I will get sections of my brow that are way too deep. Then I do have to go back in with a spoolie and brush it through my brows. I'm just kind of lazy. Yes, I wear a lot of makeup and a lot of different products, but I want them to work. I want them to be easy to use and for me not have to rely on other tools to make it look okay. I feel like today I was able to do that, but I did scrape a lot off. I went back in and scraped it off, and it doesn't really have hold to it. It really just adds color and thickness to your brows, which, hey, that's great, I'll take it. And it does have ingredients in it to help your brows fill in and grow. So there is that benefit as well, but it's not gonna be holding your brows in place. It's really just gonna add color and volume. And frankly, it's just a lot of time and effort to me to put on a brow product. I do continue to use it. I will continue to use it, but it's not my favorite. I do like the shade though. Next, I go in with my eyeliner. This is the Victoria Beckham, the Satin Kajal Liner in Olive. I love this shade. I love her eyeliners. They are like a gel. They glide on. There's no tugging or pulling. It's like satin. Satin is a perfect name for this. Like I was just thinking of that shiny fabric and you just rub your hand along it. It really is like satin when you apply it. I'm gonna swatch it right here for you. Look at that gorgeous green. I love green on brown eyes. I'm gonna spread it out a little bit so you can see it. And I just put it in my upper waterline really close to the upper lashes to make my lash line darker so my lashes look thicker at the base. And then I put some on the back of my hand and I use the other end, which has a smudger. I dip the smudger in it and just spread a little bit under my lower lash line just to make it a more cohesive look, to just add a little something. Yeah, I love this. I want to play more with this. It could definitely be used much more bold and smudged out more. It wears well. I'm just double checking now that I said that. But as far as I can tell, it wears well. It looks like it's still, you know, very close to the base of my lash line up here. I didn't really use it so much for color, just for a hint of something. So I enjoy that. I also went in with this Fit Glow Lash Primer, Plum Lash Primer. I don't know what this is supposed to do. It does look very nice on its own if I want a no makeup day. Typically I prefer more of a mascara than this. For a no makeup day, a no makeup look day, I should say, I would wear something like the Merit mascara is beautiful. This maybe on a person with really light eyelashes would be nice. and maybe you would see effects from it long term if you use it long term. I don't notice that my mascara wears better when I use it. I don't notice that my lashes look particularly better. I'm just kind of going to use it till it dries out, but so far I have not really seen any benefit from this product and would not recommend it. For mascara, I have been wearing the Kjaer Weis Impossible Mascara. The wand is like no bristles, completely flat on one side, and then bristles on the other, or two sides bristles, two sides flat. The idea is the flat, you just press it against your lashes, glump on the mascara, and that adds volume, and then the bristle side, you comb through it, and that adds length. I think it looks really nice today. I think the longer I've had this, the more it's dried down, the better it is performing, the better it is wearing. I do have really inconsistent wear with it. One day I wore it while I was digging in the garden and sweating, and it was in the 90s, and I came inside and my mascara was still flawless. Most days, however, I wear it and I end up with a dusting under my eyes within 3 to 4 hours of me putting it on. I don't like that. I don't want my mascara to flake, but worse than flaking to me is that dusting. It's not really smudged because I never put it on the lower lash line. I should say that in all my videos. When I'm wearing a mascara, I do not put it on my lower lash lines unless I tell you I did. So I shouldn't have smudging or smearing or any kind of shadow effect under my eyes as far as I'm concerned from a mascara. But this one does typically leave that. I don't know why. I don't have greasy under eyes. I usually do powder my under eyes. I didn't today. I didn't need to, but typically I do just because I don't want the mascara or anything flaking under there or smudging or looking smudged. We're not in love, this mascara and I. It has many other lovers. I am not one of them. I'll continue to use it because I don't like to waste product. I know what to expect from it. I can handle it, but it's not one I would recommend. Then I remember I never put on my concealer. So today I'm using the Fit Glow Conceal Plus in the shade C3. This is just a fantastic concealer. I see why it has so many fans. I definitely love it. It's moisturizing and more of a whipped product, but it also is weightless and not dewy. It wears well, it covers a lot. In this shade for me, it's brightening. It has, skin care benefits in it as well. It's everything I could want from a concealer. I really have no complaints. It's an excellent concealer. This week I was using a brush. Actually, this is a great concealer brush. This is a Sephora brush, and it's number 57. If you care. It's bigger than I would think would work. I'd like something maybe a little smaller just for the inner corner, but it really works nicely with concealers, and that's what I've been using. Next I go in with the Lawless talc-free, whatever their blush is called. It's a powder blush in the shade Vintage Love. They have shimmery blushes. This is not one of them, but I wouldn't say it's matte either. I've been leaning on this quite a bit in summer. It's a warmer rose. I do like the packaging. It's light, but it has a mirror. The pan is a nice size. I think it wears really well, but here it is right here. It's a really pretty shade. I'm gonna look in the mirror real quick and see. Yeah, I mean, it's faded some, but for the most part, I think it's held on pretty well. But I'm gonna add a little bit now. Much better. I am trying to get the Jones Road Miracle Balm back out. I was gonna use this as my primer, but I guess I forgot. And maybe I forgot because I just didn't want to. This feels heavy like a balm. It's sticky, it's tacky. So instead, I've been using it on my lips where I really love it. But hey, I don't need something this big just to put on my lips. And then I've also been using it as a highlighter this week. A couple things about that. I use the teeniest bit on my cheeks as a highlighter. Oh, this is the shade Magic Hour, by the way. What I have found is, I'm gonna put it right here. It's more of a bronzy balm, the shade of this one. Now, these come in different finishes. Some of them are shimmery, some of them I think are glossy, some of them aren't. I don't know. This one is shimmery, but what I found is it sinks into the skin, it can kind of spread, And then I don't even know if you can see, I'm just gonna put it on the back of my hand. It turns into sparkle dust. I've been a little bit horrified to see myself in the mirror with just a bunch of sparkles, or like glitter, like actual glitter looking particles. I think you can see them here. That's not a look I like on me. That's not a look I'm going for. I don't feel that that is a sophisticated highlight look. I may end up going back to trying this as a primer, very, very thin layer, because it is a balm, and that's why I like it on my lips. So I'm still trying to figure out how to use this one. I did also use my Fit Glow lip liner in the shade Root. It is a brownish brick red, and then I go in with the other side of the liner, which has a brush on it, so convenient, a lip brush, and I just smear that into what's already on my lips, and I think the look is really pretty. Also this week, I've been trying something I see a lot of people on YouTube do, a lot of beauty influencers and makeup, I don't know if they're makeup artists. I have been spraying, it's not a setting spray, but a spray, a hydrating essence. This is my Fit Glow Day Essence, which I absolutely adore. That's an aside. Also, I saw this was on sale, which terrifies me because typically if something's on sale, that means they are phasing it out or changing the formula. We'll see what happens with this. I absolutely love it. It smells amazing. Anyway, this is what I've been using as my setting spray. And then I've been going on top of that and just tapping in my foundation, or tapping in the spray that now has left droplets all over my face, just to press it in, to meld it all together, make it so that I'm not left with droplet marks on my face. That may be contributing to why my makeup has been wearing so well. That's what they say it does, but it has looked really nice. The sponge really hasn't removed much of the makeup. I haven't washed it all week, so I've used it every day, and it really hasn't been removing any product from my face, which was a concern of mine. And I've just been really pleased with this look. I have really liked the makeup I've worn this week. I changed up the eyeshadow a bit every day. How I did my eyes today isn't how I did them every day, but I think it created a really nice, fresh, youthful look. It's got some shimmer and some vibrancy and naturalness to it. I just think it's really pretty, and I've loved it. I loved how the products were together. I loved the colors together. You know, I really don't have any product except the mascara and the eyelash primer that I wouldn't recommend. Let me know what you're wearing this week, what your favorites are, if you have any of these products and what you think of them. You know I'd love to hear from you. Have you subscribe? Give this video a thumbs up if you made it this far, and as always, I hope you find some time to pamper yourself today. Bye.